I'll say this. I stumbled upon a video that the young lady was saying, like, she was upset that it's because she's an avid DoorDash user, right? And when she stumbled upon BiteSight because of the videos that she saw on TikTok, she was disappointed, not because of the experience she may have had on BiteSight. At least that's what I was thinking she was alluding to. But then she was like, no, it's because I don't have it here. It's because, and I'm like, okay, I could agree. I could relate to that, because when I was watching, like at least just scrolling through all the different types of foods and restaurants, it was just so intriguing. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like you said, it's like the TikTok for food delivery, right? Mm-hmm. So then I was like, okay, how do I sign up? Because I wanted to gain the access or gain the experience immediately for me to then be able to talk to my audience about this experience. Now, I don't know if any of them stumbled upon it. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, right? Mm-hmm. But for the sake of just the driver, from the driver's perspective, I have to ask these questions. So you said you're using, or BiteSight uses, a third party at the moment to get those deliveries done, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm just gonna ask just a few questions here, and then let's go. Let's just get started. All right. So question one that I have here is, if you don't mind sharing, which delivery partners do you use, and do they treat drivers well in terms of pay and transparency?
Sweet. So our main delivery fleet for the time being, and we work with as I mentioned, through some delivery service providers that help us reach these agreements. And for the time being, which is about to be put a little bit up in the air, the delivery fleet that we're working most with is Relay. And one of the main reasons that we came to this decision, we think, and the drivers that we've spoken with, this is the best experience for them, with the best transparency and the best compensation model for our drivers.
Mm-hmm.
And something that we really like as well is that the food comes faster. And so not only is it better for the drivers, but we're also seeing that when we put them up against Uber or DoorDash, we're seeing better movement. And a lot of that is just whether they're not double stacking their drivers or sending them to crazy locations. The system that we're working with right now does a really great job of dynamic order placement and sending the drivers to really efficient spots. And that's not always what we've seen. And so it's definitely still an evolving process. But for the time being, Relay, which is obviously being impacted, is one of the ones that we're working mainly with. And of course, we know the regulations are going to be in support of drivers, but surely they're going to have some unexpected impact on the business and how Relay decides to restructure their model. So something for us to be working on in the next few weeks.
Okay. All right. I promise I don't have a whole library of questions to ask, okay? I just want to make sure
No
you know.
worries.
But question number two that I have here: do the couriers get to see the full order details, like the tip amount, before accepting?
So this is one of the things that really affects how we decide the priority of how we race our different fleets. And so, as I mentioned, Relay is one of our preferred ones right now. And the way that we order them is really based on how are we going to support the customer and how are we going to support the driver. And we just find that, of course, if you can't see what the tip is and you can't see how big the food amount is, then like driver's probably not going to pick up the order quickly, and they're probably not going to be moving very, with a lot of quickness toward the delivery location. And so we work to make sure we're prioritizing fleets that are showing that tip transparency. And something that we're really, really happy about at BiteSight is that we're seeing greater tips than we were expecting, honestly. And we attribute that to a few reasons. The first one is we think that customers in general are happier with the service overall. They're getting food that they really, really are excited about, and they're getting it quickly for reasons we discussed earlier.
Right.
The second is that it's cheaper. It's cheaper to order on BiteSight than it is on Uber or DoorDash, even if you've got those Dash Pass or those Uber One benefits. And we're seeing the users directly passing that along to the drivers, which is super, super exciting. And I think for the future for us, we want to find a way to increase that transparency and as well to encourage people in even more ways to support the drivers and really make it known that they're part of the journey here. And I think with BiteSight, what we really care about we love food, we love restaurants, and we love whoever can get it to us.
Yeah.
And so what we're always thinking about is how are we supporting all parts of the ecosystem? And we're not going to win by propping up McDonald's all over our homepage, just the way DoorDash does. It's about bringing up those mom and pop shops, helping them get a new audience. And in the same way, it's about helping the drivers have a really great, sustainable career with us. And so we've only touched a little bit of how we imagine that we're helping drivers now, but we've got all kinds of ideas in the future about how we can make a fleet that's actually taking care of its people.
Now, you see how you said making a fleet that's taking care of its people. I want to just dive into this section here really quick where it's very intriguing to me how the domain name Better DoorDash is kind of like a funnel for BiteSight to, get, I guess, this is just from my perspective, just hey, what's better than DoorDash, right? Better DoorDash.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me see what this is all about. Now I'm going down this funnel and then it changes to BiteSight. Then I'm going through this experience and like, whoa. So my question to you here is it a plan to be better than DoorDash, or is it just more of a funnel to grab the attention of people like me that are accustomed to the DoorDash and then actually just going through the marketing or whatever that is presented by BiteSight? Or is it like a long-term battle that you guys really want to be better than DoorDash?
Right. What we want at BiteSight is we want to be better than DoorDash and we want to be bigger than DoorDash. And we think those things go hand in hand. And so people are going to follow who's really giving them the great experience.
Yeah.
And so right now, a lot of what you're seeing and the buzz on social media and stuff, a lot of that is from our users and our customers. And so they're excited about it. They want to shop off of video, but there's a whole back end to that where it's us as the people building BiteSight. We're getting tons of outreach from restaurants who are wanting to go live on BiteSight. They want to get this new audience. And it's really exciting when you can bring someone on and then just a couple weeks later, you send them an email and you're like, hey, here's your first report. We've sent you over 100 orders in the last couple weeks. And so there's this angle, which is under the covers that only we're seeing on our side, which is the restaurants being super excited about it. And it really goes a level deeper to your audience. And we've actually got a ton of driver interest. And so drivers will reach out to us to drive for us and try to figure out how we can get them connected directly through our delivery service provider to prioritize them on our orders. And I think what's really, really awesome is that there's obviously tons of opportunities in the future, but right now we're already trying to be creative and find ways that we can support these people and have them support us as well. And I think the reason that people are super drawn to BiteSight as well is not only because the product is cool, but I think they can see us. You see me now, you saw our CEO Lucius on a video probably, and we're just a few friends building something that we think a lot of people will love. And I think a lot of people really, these days they really love supporting a team. And it's a little bit of a David and Goliath situation where we're going up against these corporations with thousands and thousands of employees and billions of dollars, and they're trying to copy us every turn we take. But we're going to take care of people the way that they're not going to take care of people.
And I could say that I appreciate that because, but I will say, and I'll be very honest when I say this, is over the years, a lot of these companies, they have come out of nowhere, and for some reason, after they've grown to a certain point, it's like the driver pay gets cut. And I'm pretty sure you've seen some of these TikTok videos of dashers crying or talking about, I drove 30 miles, 15 miles, however many miles for $2. And it's like, it's not just DoorDash, but it's like there's some Uber Eats videos as well that's like this. Now, not to put you on the spot here, Bernardo, but this is a very intense part of the conversation because drivers, especially if BiteSight is considering getting partnered directly with these drivers at some point in the future, these are questions that a lot of drivers will have because of the previous experiences they've had. So I have to ask, how do you solidify that relationship, or to make sure that for the future, or if you can't answer this, just let me know and I'll try to
Yeah.
restructure the question. But the thing is, how do you guarantee a driver that is deciding, hey, you know what, BiteSight sounds cool, let me go ahead and try to sign up with them, and eventually maybe they do have a direct partnership with me? How do you solidify or guarantee that driver will be having such a great experience, just like the customers, to the point where that driver just might become a loyal driver for BiteSight?
Hmm. I hear you. And we're all ears all the time here. And we want to speak very transparently about what it is that we're building and why. And I think that this is one of the questions that we discussed really, really early on. Because the very beginning of BiteSight, it was still video-based menus, but it was at the restaurants. When you scan a QR code menu at the table, it was you would see everything in video. And so it was quite a big shift when we decided to do delivery and see this bigger market. And one of the big questions that we would ask ourselves is this even a ball game that is attractive to play in? Because of course, you've got a bunch of grievances and just historical negativity from the driver's side because they're constantly getting pushed down. But let's not forget, we've got the same from the restaurants. The restaurants are getting a little piece taken away from them as well, and it's becoming more and more aggressive, but it's remaining opaque. They don't know exactly what's happening and why. And at the same time, we're having the users notice these problems where they're getting a bigger fees tacked on, food's arriving slower, colder. And so it's like over time, it's really devolving and becoming an unpopular place to be. And it's sometimes it's like saying, "Hey, I'm a hedge fund manager." Like people are gonna look at you like, okay, so what horrible things are you involved in?
Right.
And what I want to say is that we really want to focus on repairing these relationships. And so when we see videos like that, that's absolutely not our vision for the future. And a lot of what we're thinking about is the ways in which we can the ways in which we can cut some of the junk that is already baked into the process and actually support these drivers. And I say this from a first person perspective for the drivers. I myself worked in the food industry, minimum wage for a couple years, grinding, taking care of people, and then no tip. And so I know how that feels. And actually our CTO, he was a delivery driver himself for Favor. And he's always sharing his stories about how when Faber was just starting up, they were a big mess. He was in Austin, and he would be driving the car on the phone, placing the order while he's driving on the highway, and then getting the food, driving across Austin with terrible traffic, and then no tip. And so we're all too familiar with this experience, and it's something that we're going to continue to learn more and more about when we're hitting other cities. Because in New York, you've got bikes, the drivers do their own thing, they weave in and out of traffic, and it's not going to be the same in Atlanta, in Houston. And
Miami.
so, exactly.
Right.
And so there's a lot for us to learn still, and we don't want to ever shy down from that. And so, as you mentioned, like potential for loyalty, that's something that really stands out for us. And in some ways, it's kind of looking back to the past when pizza shops had their own drivers and Chinese takeout had their own drivers. And this is actually something that we've been hearing is coming back into play for some of these fleets whenever restaurants have hit a threshold of orders. They start pulling in their own drivers, which are assigned by the fleets. And so it's like these things are coming back around to support drivers and restaurants in a better way. But we think there's a whole other level. We want people to be loyal BiteSight drivers. We want to have special perks for them. We want to have different incentives, bonuses, whether it be from working during peak hours or even if it's, wait time compensation and things like this.
Ooh.
We want to have
Okay.
that,
Okay.
but we also want to have because hey, at 3 a.m. if you order, it's going to be a little slower.
Yeah.
And if we can pay a little bit to make sure that somebody's awake and somebody's wanting to get that work, that makes us happy. And that's part of the experience we want for our users because that 3 a.m. or that 1 a.m. chicken needs to arrive by 1:07,
Yeah.
And so we want not only to do the actual improvement and getting people paid, but we also think there's so much more opportunity around transparency of payouts, base pay, tip, etc., and opportunities around how we're encouraging our users to tip, how we may create profit sharing or tip boosting, and yeah, just in general, more relationships directly with restaurants, with us, and with our users. Just because we kind of see this as everyone being part of the same journey, and we see everyone coming up together here.
Oh yeah, what time it is, D-Fam?